Today we're going to be talking about the often visited subject of power. But today we're going to be talking about a product that I am very excited to get my hands on, and that is the Bluetti Elite 200 version 2. As I said, I'm super excited to get my hands on this thing. I've been reading about it since it came out recently. I've really wanted to use one, and I'm really glad that I've gotten the chance to. But first thing is first, before we get carried away plugging things into it, let's charge it. So the power station showed up 67% charged. So we're going to plug it in, see how long it's going to take it to charge up. All right, well, it's plugged in and it's drawing about 1400 watts. It says it's going to take about a half hour to charge. Let's check and see what the Bluetti app says. All right, app says the same thing. It's now 68% charged. 29 minutes remaining until charge. The display says 0.5 hours, so we're pretty dead on. So at this point, we're just going to let it charge. Now that we've gotten it all charged up, let's talk about some of the specs. This thing, well, spoiler alert, it's a beast. 2,600 watts, 2073.6 watt hours, so a 2 kilowatt station with 3,900 watts of lifting power. Now you can probably see why I'm excited to get my hands on it. Now, if you've watched any of my other power station videos, you see that I usually take my recording setup, my cameras, my fridge, stuff like that, all the stuff I take when I go off to film a video. We're going to do things a little differently today because, well, we know this beast is going to keep my cameras and all that stuff charged for the entire trip. So we're going to forego all that. We're going to dive right in, and we're going to plug in some bigger stuff into this and see how it does. Before we get too carried away plugging things into it, let's take a moment and let's review the ports that are on it. You have two 100 watt USB-Cs, you have two 15 watt USB-As, DC output, DC input, 4 AC outlets, and your AC input and circuit protector on the side. I will say real quick, and it's probably the only remotely negative thing I'm going to say about this power station in this video because, well, again, spoiler alert, I really like the thing. But there's a lot of real estate on the front of it, and I really think it could stand to use some more USB ports on it because, let's face it, as time goes on, more and more of our stuff plugs into USB-A and, well, USB-C, really. So I really could do another row of these. That would make me very happy. But considering that that is really the only nitpicky thing I have about this power station, I'd say it's doing pretty well. All right, enough of me talking. Let's plug some stuff into it. All right, first thing we're going to hit it with is going to be this portable heater. Might not seem like a lot to you, but these things draw a significant amount of power. In fact, this one is a 1,500 watt unit. So I've already got it plugged in. We've got the power station powered on. So I'm going to power the heater on and let's see how much it draws and how long the station says it will power it for. See, we got a pretty good amount of draw. We're up to over 1,400. Well, now down to 1,300. And this thing, if I don't set it on the thermostat to cut off, it's going to run constantly. So you can see, even drawing 500 something watts, it's going to power it for 3.5 hours of constant draw. All right, it's leveled off at about 270 watts. It says it'll power it for 7.2 hours. So that would keep you warm all night. Now, this would obviously not be the ideal setup for a camping situation. In fact, it would be sub-ideal to the point that I would say a bad idea. But if you did go with this route, it would keep you warm all night. Well, we're not exactly in the needing a fan kind of weather, but let's see how long it would power the fan for in case you needed it in your campsite. Oh, it's going to power this forever. This fan is nothing. It's only drawing 69 watts. It's going to power it for over a day. So the fan, no challenge at all. Come on, let's see what we can find. We can do better than that. I'm just getting silly now. Gone in the kitchen and gotten the air fryer. Let's see what it can do with that. Okay, it's powered on and set to air fry, 425 degrees. It is drawing, 1728 watts, 29 watts, and it says it's going to power it for just over an hour. That is an immense amount of power draw, 1700 watts. And it's going to run, yeah, probably about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes off of that. Yeah. Oh, our oven just reached operating temperature. All right, next thing we're going to plug into it. 1600 watt heat gun, Steinel, German quality, because you know the Germans make good stuff. Now I've got this thing turned up all the way, 1200 degrees. We're drawing, 1560, it's fluctuating a little bit, but you can see it's going to power it for 1.2 hours. So that is not too shabby. Now the heat gun has to cool off because we jacked it up so high, and it's still drawing 36 watts, and well, that's not a lot. You can see it'll power it for basically 2 days if it needed 2 days to cool off, which it doesn't. All right, let's take a quick peek inside the box and see what comes with it. You have your AC power cord, DC, which actually has 2 sets of solar cables attached to it, so that's pretty cool. You could power 2 separate sets of solar panels, and you do have a little manual in there. One very small little shortcoming: it doesn't come with a DC input cable for your vehicle's cigarette lighter to recharge it off that. Most of us aren't going to recharge a 2 kilowatt hour station off that, but it would be nice to have one to maybe top the station off while you're driving from one location to the other. Extremely minor thing, and it's not anything to do with the station. No gripe against the station. I would have just preferred that Bluetti included one, but let's face it, odds are you probably have one already in a box somewhere. Although it is a bit on the heavy side, but normal for a 2 kilowatt station, it is a little smaller than a station of this power usually is. Now, I'm going to preface this, what I'm about to say, with the disclaimer: I'm not an expert on this subject, so if I say something that's not 100% correct, don't skewer me for it. But it's my understanding that Bluetti is using a different grade of power cells in this that are automotive in nature, and rather than being circular in shape or square in shape, and are more efficiently arranged and take up less space inside of the unit, which lets them make a slightly smaller case. Also, because it is a higher grade of battery, Bluetti claims that they are good for 6,000 cycles. That is, off the top of my head, about 16 or 17 years, and you're not ever going to reach the operational limit of this station. So for all intents and purposes, this station is going to last you forever. Full disclosure, Bluetti did sponsor this video, and they did provide the product. That being said, I'm not going to steer you wrong and tell you that you need a product that you don't need, or that a product is good when it's not. My honest opinion of this product is that it's an amazing power station. I wanted to get my hands on it ahead of time. I finally got it. I'm excited that I did. And for my needs, which is camping, overlanding, etc., it's going to meet my needs. It's going to exceed my needs. This is more power station than I need, which is great, because I need a surplus of power because of what I'm doing when I'm out in the wild. Regardless of whether or not your usage is for outdoors stuff, overlanding, camping, or if it's to power your home in the case of a power outage, because let's face it, we've had some natural disasters recently on the East Coast that have made having access to power an important thing. This is going to keep your essentials powered for quite some time. In the home, your appliances, CPAP machine, etc. It's going to keep this running if you have no electricity. So that's an important thing. So I am not hesitant at all to give this power station my endorsement. I think it's great. I am definitely going to keep my hands on this. You'll see it in future trail videos because it is going to be powering my stuff when I'm on the trail. But here's the important thing. Does Victor approve? Let's ask him. What do you think of the Bluetti Elite 200 version 2, Victor? Do you like it? What do you think? Is it good? Oh, I think it's good. He approves. That's what's important. Victor approves.